Picture this. You're standing in front of a slot machine, feeding it coins one by one, while behind you, a bucket with massive holes in the bottom is overflowing with water you desperately need to save. That's exactly what I see when people throw money at the stock market while carrying credit card debt at 22% interest. Here's a shocking truth that will blow your mind. 95% of people get the order of investing completely wrong, and it's costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. Most people want to skip straight to picking the next hot stock, but they're completely ignoring the foundational work that actually builds wealth. What I'm about to share will change everything you thought you knew about investing. There's an optimal sequence that can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars, and most people have never heard of it. Hey everyone, I'm Finn, and I'm passionate about making wealth building simple and achievable for everyone. If you've ever wondered whether you should pay off debt first or start investing, or if you're confused about 401ks versus individual retirement accounts, this video is going to change everything for you. Today, I'm breaking down the exact 7-step sequence that the wealthy use to build massive wealth systematically. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear roadmap that eliminates all the guesswork. The opportunity cost of getting this wrong is massive, so make sure you stick around until the end. If you're ready to build wealth the smart way, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in together. Before we dive into the sexy world of investing, let's talk about step 1, your emergency fund. And I know, this isn't as exciting as picking stocks, but hear me out. 1 in 3 Americans has zero emergency savings, and the median emergency fund is just $500. That's less than a single car repair. Here's why this matters for wealth building. Without an emergency buffer, you'll be forced to sell your investments at the worst possible times or go into debt when life happens. Think of your emergency fund as your wealth's bodyguard. Begin by accumulating your first $1,000 immediately. Liquidate possessions, increase work hours, do whatever is necessary. Then build to 1 month of expenses, then 3 months. This isn't just about covering emergencies, it's about giving you the confidence to take calculated risks with your investments. Comment below how much you currently have in emergency savings. Let's see where we all stand. Now here's where most people mess up their wealth building journey. They try to invest while carrying high-interest debt. This is like trying to fill a bucket with massive holes in the bottom. With credit card rates averaging 22%, you're essentially guaranteeing yourself a 22% loss every year you carry that balance. Here's the math that will change your perspective. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt and only make minimum payments, you'll pay nearly $2,800 in interest over 5 years. That's money that could have been growing for you instead of against you. The strategy is simple but powerful. List all your debts by interest rate, pay minimums on everything, then attack the highest rate debt with every extra dollar you have. But here's the plot twist. There's one major exception to this rule that could cost you thousands if you ignore it. Keep watching to find out what it is. Here's that game-changing exception I promised: employer matching contributions. Even if you're drowning in credit card debt, you should contribute enough to get your full employer match first. Why? Because it's literally free money with a guaranteed 100% return. If your employer matches 50 cents on every dollar up to 6% of your salary, that's an immediate 50% return plus whatever your investments earn over time. No bond or cryptocurrency can guarantee that. Here's a real example. If you make $50,000 and your employer matches up to 6%, contributing $3,000 gets you an instant $1,500 bonus. That's better than any investment opportunity you'll ever find. The key is to contribute just enough to get the full match, then redirect every other penny back to crushing that high-interest debt. If you're not getting your full employer match, you're literally leaving money on the table. What's your employer match percentage? Drop it in the comments. Once you've got your emergency fund, eliminated high-interest debt, and captured your employer match, here's where things get interesting. Your next move should be maxing out your individual retirement account, not putting more money into your 401k. This surprises most people, but here's why it's brilliant. Individual retirement accounts give you complete control over your investment choices and typically have much lower fees than employer plans. Most 401k plans offer a limited menu of expensive mutual funds that charge 1 to 2% in fees annually. With an individual retirement account, you can invest in low-cost index funds charging just 0.03 to 0.1% per year. That fee difference might seem small, but over 30 years, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. For 2025, you can contribute up to $7,000 to an individual retirement account, or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. Think of an individual retirement account as your personal investment playground with professional-grade tools. Which type of individual retirement account should you choose? Keep watching. The next step will blow your mind. This decision can literally save or cost you thousands in taxes over your lifetime. Traditional individual retirement accounts let you deduct contributions now, but you pay taxes when you withdraw in retirement. Roth individual retirement accounts make you pay taxes up front, but then all withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. Here's the simple rule that works for most people. If you're currently in a high tax bracket and expect to be in a lower one in retirement, choose traditional. If you're in a lower bracket now but expect higher taxes later, choose Roth. For young people just starting their careers, Roth is usually the winner because you're likely in your lowest earning years right now. But here's a pro tip. If you're not sure, split your contributions between both types. This creates tax diversification and gives you options in retirement. The key is to start contributing somewhere rather than getting paralyzed by the decision. What's your current tax bracket? Let me know in the comments. If you have access to a health savings account, this might be the most underutilized wealth-building tool in America. Health savings accounts are like the Swiss Army knife of tax-advantaged accounts because they offer not one, not two, but 3 tax benefits. You get a tax deduction for contributions, your money grows tax-free, and withdrawals for medical expenses are completely tax-free, even in retirement. It's the only account that's tax-free going in, growing, and coming out. For 2025, you can contribute up to $4,300 for individual coverage or $8,550 for family coverage. Here's the ninja strategy. Pay for current medical expenses out of pocket if you can afford it, keep your receipts, and let your health savings account money stay invested. There's no time limit on reimbursing yourself, so you could pay for a doctor visit today and reimburse yourself 20 years from now, completely tax-free. Do you have access to a health savings account? If yes, you're sitting on a gold mine. Once you've maximized your individual retirement account and health savings account, it's time to go back and max out your 401k beyond the employer match. The 2025 contribution limit is $23,500 for most people or $31,000 if you're 50 or older. At this point, you're really cooking with gas from a tax perspective. Between your individual retirement account, health savings account, and 401k, you could potentially shelter over $35,000 annually from current taxation if you're under 50. That's serious money that gets to compound without the IRS taking their cut every year. Here's something that might surprise you. Most people never get past this point. The average American saves about 6% of their income, which usually isn't enough to max out even their employer match and individual retirement account contributions. But if you can work through this entire sequence, congratulations! You're already in the top 5% of savers in America. You're setting yourself up for a retirement that most people can only dream about. Are you part of the 5%? Let me know where you are in this sequence. Finally, we reach the step most people want to start with: taxable investment accounts. This is where you can buy individual stocks, trade ETFs, or invest in index funds without contribution limits or withdrawal restrictions. But here's the catch. Every dividend gets taxed, and every time you sell for a gain, the IRS wants their cut. It's like running a race while someone keeps throwing sand in your shoes. The tax drag can be brutal over time. However, taxable accounts become incredibly valuable once you've maximized everything else. They offer complete flexibility. Need money for a house down payment? No problem. Want to retire early before accessing retirement accounts? Taxable accounts provide the bridge funding. The key is understanding that this is the final piece of the puzzle, not the starting point. When you follow this sequence, you're building wealth systematically while others are still trying to pick the next Tesla. Remember, wealth building isn't about timing the market. It's about time in the market with the right strategy. Let me show you the real power of following this sequence with actual numbers that will blow your mind. Let's say you invest $10,000 annually for 30 years. In tax-advantaged accounts earning 7%, you end up with about $944,000. In taxable accounts with the same return but paying taxes along the way, you might end up with closer to $700,000. That's nearly $250,000 difference just from tax drag. But here's what makes this system truly powerful. Each step builds on the previous ones. Your emergency fund prevents you from derailing progress when life happens. Eliminating high-interest debt stops you from bleeding money. Employer matching gives you guaranteed returns. Tax-advantaged accounts let more money compound. The beautiful thing is that following this sequence creates momentum. As you complete each step, you build confidence and financial discipline that makes the next step easier. This isn't just about money. It's about creating a mindset that attracts wealth over time. Once you've mastered the basics, here are some advanced strategies that can supercharge your wealth building. First, consider the backdoor Roth individual retirement account if your income is too high for direct Roth contributions. This involves contributing to a traditional individual retirement account and then converting it to Roth, perfectly legal and incredibly powerful for high earners. Second, if you're self-employed or have a side hustle, consider a solo 401k or SEP individual retirement account. These allow you to contribute as both employer and employee, potentially sheltering over $60,000 annually. Third, think about tax loss harvesting in your taxable accounts, selling losing investments to offset gains and reduce your tax bill. Fourth, consider dollar cost averaging versus lump sum investing based on your psychological comfort level. The key is to keep learning and optimizing as your income grows. Wealth building is a skill that gets better with practice. What advanced strategy interests you most? Drop a comment and let me know. Before we wrap up, let me share the biggest mistakes I see people make that completely sabotage their wealth building efforts. Mistake number 1: trying to time the market instead of focusing on time in the market. Studies show that missing just the 10 best days over 20 years can cut your returns in half. Mistake number 2: paying high fees on actively managed funds when low-cost index funds consistently outperform them. A 1% fee difference can cost you hundreds of thousands over your lifetime. Mistake number 3. Emotional investing. Buying high when markets are hot and selling low when they crash. This is the fastest way to destroy wealth. Mistake number 4. Not starting early enough. A 25-year-old who invests $200 monthly will have more at retirement than a 35-year-old who invests $400 monthly, thanks to compound interest. The key is to automate your investments, keep fees low, stay diversified, and stick to your plan no matter what the market does. Which of these mistakes have you made? Be honest in the comments. Now that you know the optimal order, let's talk about what to actually invest in. For most people, the answer is beautifully simple. Low-cost, broad market index funds. A total stock market index fund gives you ownership in thousands of companies for fees as low as 0.03% annually. Consider a 3-fund portfolio. 70% total stock market index, 20% international stock index, and 10% bond index. As you get older, gradually shift more toward bonds for stability. The key is to keep it simple, keep costs low, and stay diversified. Avoid the temptation to pick individual stocks unless you're doing it with fund money you can afford to lose. Remember, even professional fund managers struggle to beat the market consistently, so don't feel bad about using index funds. They're not boring, they're brilliant. Warren Buffett himself recommends index funds for most investors. If you want to add some spice, limit individual stock picks to no more than 5 to 10% of your portfolio. What's your current investment strategy? Let me know in the comments. Let me share some real success stories from viewers who followed this exact sequence. Sarah, a 28-year-old teacher, started with just $50 per month 5 years ago. By following this order, she now has a $5,000 emergency fund, no debt, and over $25,000 in retirement accounts. Mike, a 35-year-old contractor, was drowning in credit card debt 3 years ago. He followed the sequence, eliminated $18,000 in debt, and now maxes out his solo 401k every year. These aren't lottery winners or high earners. They're regular people who committed to the process. Here are key milestones to celebrate. Your first $1,000 emergency fund, becoming debt-free, hitting your first $10,000 in investments, then $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000. Each milestone gets easier as compound interest starts working its magic. The hardest part is getting started, but every small step matters. Remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent. Where are you in your wealth-building journey? Share your current milestone in the comments and celebrate how far you've come. All right, here's your homework, and I want you to take action while you're motivated. First, assess where you are right now. Do you have an emergency fund? Any high-interest debt? Are you getting your full employer match? Write it down. Second, pick one step from today's sequence and commit to working on it this month. Don't try to do everything at once. That's a recipe for failure. Third, automate whatever you can. Set up automatic transfers to your emergency fund, automatic contributions to your 401k, automatic payments to crush that debt. Fourth, educate yourself continuously. Read books, watch videos, listen to podcasts about personal finance. Knowledge compounds just like money. Fifth, find an accountability partner or join online communities focused on financial independence. Surround yourself with people who share your goals. Remember, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. The wealthy didn't get rich overnight, and neither will you. But if you start today and stay consistent, your future self will thank you. What's the one step you're committing to this month? Drop it in the comments right now. Before we wrap up, I want you to understand something profound. Wealth building isn't really about money. It's about developing the discipline, patience, and systematic thinking that creates success in every area of life. When you follow this sequence, you're not just building wealth, you're building character. You're proving to yourself that you can delay gratification, stick to a plan, and make smart decisions consistently over time. These are the same qualities that lead to success in careers, relationships, and personal goals. The person who can max out their individual retirement account every year for 20 years is the same person who can stick to a fitness routine, build a successful business, or master any skill. The compound effect goes far beyond your investment accounts. So as you embark on this journey, remember that every dollar you invest is a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose long-term thinking over instant gratification, you're becoming someone capable of extraordinary things.
This is bigger than retirement planning. This is life planning.
You've got the blueprint, you understand the sequence, and you have the power to transform your future starting today. The only question is, what are you going to do about it?